Hello, if you're joining me. I'm just about to go live on my radio show, The Joy Temple, here on Hutt Radio here in New Zealand. And I've got a guest coming in this morning, and we're going to be talking about counselling and how the role of counselling can help us. Her name is Christa Duffy. So she'll be joining me about 9:30, but she'll be in a bit earlier. She's bringing me a coffee, which is very nice. So I am great, thank you. Thanks for joining. I'd love to know who you are, where you're from, and as we get into the conversation today with Christa, if you have any questions for her, please let me know, and we will address those while we're playing some songs, right? While we're not on air. So not long, I'll be going on air, just waiting for the news to finish.
Kiwi Bank economists say an economic recovery is coming, but it's taking a lot longer.
This might be her now.
They've updated their forecasts and say the economy is likely to grow just 0.9% this year. Previously,
no, it's not her on my phone. I'm trying to find a vegan cake somewhere here in Wellington. Someone who can make me a vegan cake, but having trouble finding that. Right, let's see if we can get a bit closer in. I need to get me in, I need to get her in.
Damping down hotspots overnight after a large fire broke out in Littleton. Crews were called to the blaze just after 5 o'clock yesterday, finding it had engulfed 2 houses and was spreading to a third. 2 of the homes are badly damaged. Crews will be back at the scene this morning. 2 men in Britain have been jailed for stealing a golden toilet worth almost $10 million.
Did you hear that? 2 people have been jailed for stealing a $10 million golden toilet. That's hilarious.
Says the case has provoked many toilet-related puns, but was nonetheless
a $10 million toilet. That's outrageous. Okay. Anyway, shouldn't be long, and we'll be going live. So good morning. Thank you for joining me.
The 18-carat gold toilet has not been seen since it was stolen 6 years ago. And that's the news.
Oh, now we got the sport.
Good morning.
I hope it's a beautiful day where you are. It's looking gorgeous outside today. And we're heading off to Owakuni, which is up about halfway up the North Island here in New Zealand on Monday, because we're going to go and check out the snow, which is very exciting. Anyway, listen, we've got some bipping in the background. I don't think it's anything too serious. Hopefully it'll stop before I go live. Morning over there on YouTube. Hello, thank you for joining me today. My name is Janie, and I'm the host of the Joy Temple program on Hutt Radio here in Wellington, New Zealand. And how cute are my earrings today? Look at them, they're like big strawberries. Can't eat them, but they're very cute. I want to bring YouTube closer. Let's see if we can do that.
At start, South Africa was 213 for 2 to 69 runs from victory over Australia, with Mark not out 102.
Sport's nearly done.
On 65, took full advantage of a flattening pitch to put on 143 for the third wicket, easily the best partnership of the match so far, which delighted their teammate, all-rounder Vian Mulder, who spoke on the
Normally I don't bother having the news or anything, but I just like to have a little bit of time just to relax before we get started.
2 guys who put South African cricket first.
Hopefully this will be finished in a second.
For New Zealand Formula One driver Liam Lawson in the opening practice session for Monday's Canadian Grand Prix. He was the 8th quickest driver, with Red Bull's Max Verstappen the fastest.
So we've got a short week here in New Zealand because we've got the Matariki holiday coming up on Friday. So I'm feeling very excited. 3 days off work, 1 day at work, and then Matariki holiday, long weekend. Hey, we're ready.
This is Brad Savage broadcasting from
My guest is
Akron,
here.
Ohio, USA. And I have a rather extensive record collection. And we've mixed it all together on a global radio show called Cruising the Decades, 100 Years of Music. Will you join us for a 100-year musical journey? We can listen to some old records together. We play one song per decade from the 1920s to the 2020s. Listen on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on your voice in the Valley, 88.3 FM, Hutt Radio.
You can sit in this corner here. Okay, everybody, my guest is here. Christa's here, which is really exciting. And she has brought a special guest, Snuffleupagus. Are we able to see Snuffy at some point?
Yeah, I can actually bring her over right now. Come here.
Okay, I should be going live, but this is very exciting. Come here. Look who's here. Let's turn the music down. There, look at this, everybody. This is Snuffy.
Snuffy. Say hello.
How fantastic is that? Ah, so Snuffy is joining us on the show today, which is very exciting.
Say hi.
Okay, great. Well, I'm just going to let this song play out and then I'll start the show.
Cool. Snuffy's on Insta as well. Her handle is Snuffleupagus. Mrs. _ Snuffleupagus. If anyone wants to follow.
Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic. Oh, that's great. Now, I'm going to get you to move right in close so that we can see you on both the screens.
Cool.
And then I'll be going live in a second. And then for your microphone, if you can just bring it in so that it's nice and close so that you can talk into it. It moves, so adjust it to what you like. And then I'm just going to do it's beautiful, isn't it? It's lovely. I'm going to do just my pre-start of my show, and then we can chat about 9:30.
Sounds good.
And she's bought coffee. Thank you for that. How are you feeling about today?
I'm a little bit nervous.
Uh-huh.
So normally in the
Do you want to spin around a bit? Is it?
yeah.
Just make yourself nice and comfy there. As long as we can see you, which we can. Perfect. A bit nervous?
Yeah, a bit nervous. So usually in the entertainment industry, I'll be walking up and down a catwalk,
Uh-huh.
not talking.
Uh-huh.
So this is very out of my comfort zone, but
Yeah.
I'm definitely up for a challenge. So
Good.
yeah,
Good. I always think that any experience we do that takes us out of our comfort zone is something that we can feel a bit more easier about things in life. So
absolutely.
you might leave today going, I love doing radio and want to have your own radio show. Anything's
You never
possible.
know.
You never know. Anyway, this song's about to wrap up, so I'm going to start the show, and then we will start chatting about 9:30. Oh, it's really exciting. So I've written a few things here that we're going to talk about. It's very unscripted. It's just very organic and
Conversation.
Yeah, just a nice conversation.
Yeah. Awesome.
Right, let's go. Good morning, everybody. Hello. Welcome to the Joy Temple program on Hutt Radio. My name is Janie. It is 12 minutes past 9, a very late start for me this morning. However, very good reason for that. I have my lovely guest who has arrived today, which is really fantastic. And she has also brought a special guest with her. Her beautiful dog called Mr. Snuffleupagus, or just
Snuffleupagus.
Just Snuffleupagus.
Her Insta handles Mrs. _ Snuffleupagus.
Right. Well, we will talk about that on the show as we get into our conversation. So I'm sorry that I'm very late starting today, but better late than never. So how is everybody this morning? I hope you've had a fabulous week and getting ready for the weekend. It's looking beautiful outside. And today we are streaming on iHeartRadio as normal, and also live on TikTok and YouTube at the Joy Temple. So if you have joined me already, hello, it's lovely to see you, and you can see Christa and I here on our live stream today. And if you have any questions for either of us, you can certainly pop those into the chat and we can address those through the show. Now this week, I'm feeling very excited about the upcoming week because I've got 3 days off. Then we've got 1 day at work, and then we've got the Matariki holiday. So pretty much a nice, easy week for me. And we're heading off to Owakuni for a few days. I believe there could be some snow up there. So we're looking forward to going sledding, which I really enjoy sledding. But once I'm on the ground, I find it a bit hard to get back up. But luckily, my husband will be there to help me. The joys of aging, hey? Now, as I love to do every week when I start my show, is to set an intention for the weekend and also share something that I am grateful for. So this weekend, my intention is to pack to go to Owakuni. So that's a pretty nice intention to have. And for gratitude, you know what, I'm just feeling so grateful that I'm going to have some time away with my husband before he heads over to India. In a few weeks. Next month he's heading to India for 7 weeks, so I'm really going to miss him. So it's nice that we can make some time together and just do that before he heads away. And I'm also feeling really grateful because next weekend my son is coming to visit. He turns 40 this year and his birthday is actually the same day as Shakti's, so we'll be really celebrating it next Sunday when he arrives. So lots of things to be grateful for. And I'm just going to pop Christa's mic on to just ask her if she's got anything she's feeling grateful for today.
Yeah, I'm happy that it's a lovely sunny day outside and that it's the weekend.
Yeah. And that's a really, I think that's just a lovely approach about gratitude, is just finding one small thing. I know I talk a lot about gratitude on the show and how people struggle with understanding how easy feeling grateful can be. And if you do look outside, it is beautiful, it's sunny, and that is something really lovely to be grateful for. Now I think we might get into a song and then let's check out the weather because it is looking rather nice out there today. And I think we might start today with, let's have some ABBA. Let's have Voulez-Vous. We'll be back in a moment on the Joy Temple program. There we go. Okay, we're away. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers, everybody. Cheers. Oh,
Cheers
thank
our
you.
coffees.
Oh my goodness. It's always like this moment of like getting everything out of your head and then getting into the show. So
That's great.
it's a lot of fun. Really, it's a lot of fun.
So has your husband been to the snow before?
Yes, we went, so he actually lived in Switzerland. He was sent to Switzerland. So this is a little story. So when my husband was 15, he was sent to Switzerland by his father who wanted somebody to live overseas. So he didn't speak hardly any English, let alone any German or anything like that. And he was sent to Switzerland to go to hospitality school. And he lived there for, I think, 2 years. So he was up to his neck in snow, literally, over there. But since we've come to New Zealand, we have been to Owakuni a couple of times and done some sledding before. So, yeah, but it's always
What
just
about
nice.
you before you came to New Zealand? Because you're from Australia, aren't you?
And in Australia, we just have a couple of places where there is snow, but it's not somewhere you would easily go to unless you were living, near there. So I have been to Thredbo and hung out there, which was pretty nice. But yes, snow hasn't been a very big thing because not a lot of Australia has snow.
Yeah. Oh,
So
wow.
what about yourself?
Yes, I've been to the snow plenty of times.
Yeah. Up in Ruapehu or
Yeah,
somewhere else?
Ruapehu, and then my dad lived in Christchurch for a while, so we went to lots of snow down there too. So.
Beautiful. Yeah. Do you guys like the snow? Have you been to the snow? Had a chance to go to the snow? It's a bit hard for me to see my cameras today. Normally I am have them on this side, so it's a bit hard for me to see what's happening, but thank you for joining us. We really do appreciate it. Now I'm just going to have a chat to Christa about our show coming up. I feel like I'm shouting in here. I don't need to shout. Now I've just written down some of the things we talked about the other day around
Sounds good.
chefing, modelling, counselling. We've got Snuffy here. The stigma and the mindset
Yeah.
around counselling. How did your idea come up? What do you love about your work? Nutrition, issues that people are having at present. Talk about your music because you've got some really interesting music.
Some of it was from my teens, some of it is
Oh,
stuff that reminds me of my kids, what my kids and I like to listen to,
Yeah.
and and then obviously, Led Zeppelin from when I was growing up.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
When
beautiful.
I was little, so yeah.
Nice. Is there anything else that you think I have thought of that we might want to talk about today? Because we can just, go off on some tangents, which is often what happens.
Yeah, that'd be
Which
good.
is kinda
Nothing
nice.
in particular, I think we just take it as it comes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just go with the flow.
What about you? Is there anything that you'd like to go over other than what's there?
No, I'm just happy to just let it be a really nice organic conversation. I
Yeah.
think that's what makes it good storytelling, right?
Yeah.
If you're not scripted and you're not like, tell me about a time when da 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 da. We won't be doing that. Hey, where's our music on? Welcome back, everybody. That was ABBA with Voulez-Vous. It's 9:20 a.m. on Hutt Radio. This is the Joy Temple. My name is Janie, and today I have a lovely guest in the studio. Her name is Christa Duffy from Mindful Connections, and she'll be joining me about 9:30. And we're just going to have a beautiful chat about her life as a training to be a chef, being a model, and how she's transitioned into her work as a counsellor and has founded an online counselling service. And she'll tell us all about that. But before she joins me today, well, guess what, everybody? Tomorrow is National Smile Power Day, and if you're looking for a reason to smile, and there should be lots of reasons for us to smile, then tomorrow is your lucky day. It's the day that you can just get all cheesy, smile at everybody about anything, anytime and anywhere, because this is a dedicated day to smiling, and it is to encourage positivity and individuality by using our smile power. And this particular day was started back in 1999, and by around 2005, excuse me, this national day had gained worldwide recognition, with people from different countries holding their own celebrations to celebrate the power of smiling. And then in 2007, excuse me, I have a very big frog in my throat today, a song called Smile by a man called Uncle Cracker. That makes you laugh, not smile. This particular song helped increase awareness for National Smile Power Day. And then social media boosted this event in around 2012, and the hashtag Smile Power Day helped build engagement and grow this particular special day. And around 2019, organisations initiated smile campaigns to encourage participation throughout the workplace and the community. And due to COVID, the celebrations moved online, with virtual smile events taking place around the globe from 2020. So it really has grown from its humble beginnings back in 1999 to a day that is still being recognised now. And what are the benefits of smiling? And maybe this is something that Christa might have some input on as well today with her role as a counsellor. I'm going to pop her microphone in case she wants to just join into this part of the conversation. But smiling has great health benefits such as increasing endorphins, which makes it a natural mood booster, and it also helps reduce stress and lower our blood pressure. It's also contagious. When we smile at people, people genuinely or generally smile back, and that means both parties are getting benefits from, the smile. It can just literally brighten up someone else's day. Like, there's nothing nicer than seeing somebody just smile at you, right? When you might be walking down the street and somebody just, you know, throws a big smile at you, you can't help but feel good. And it should make you feel good because it just, you can feel what smiling does, right? Is that something that you guys talk about in your counselling service? The power of smiling?
So when you say that it improves endorphins, so they're basically a hormone that is a feel-good hormone. So I think when we receive a smile and also give a smile, it releases the endorphins, as you say, and you just immediately feel good. You know, it's a feel-good feeling.
It is. It's nice, hey? And I love to smile, and I think it's just one of my, I'll call it a superpower, smiling, because I'm just always smiling. Like, even if bad stuff is happening, I will always find a reason to smile. Sending a smile to someone gives the message that you are open, friendly, and also approachable. And this is a day to just take a moment to appreciate and also promote the power of positivity. Lots of good things around smiling. And here's some ways that we can celebrate National Smile Power Day tomorrow. We've got Snuffy in the background here. In case you've just tuned in, my guest Christa has brought her beautiful dog Snuffy to the studio. Amazing. Oh my goodness, you should see. There you go. If you're online joining us on TikTok and YouTube, you will see Snuffy here, and I'm going to give Snuffy a little pat. Oh my goodness, how adorable. That is so adorable. That makes you smile, everybody. So here's some ways that we can celebrate National Smile Power Day tomorrow or today. Smile at a stranger, make their day, and don't forget to look in the mirror and smile at yourself. And this is one of the things I do every day. Like, I will get out of the shower, and as I'm getting dry, firstly, I'll tell myself how awesome I am. Because if I don't tell myself, who's going to tell me? Well, my husband will tell me. But I need to talk myself up. I need to tell myself how awesome I am. And I need to give myself that smile, because it just makes me feel good, and I love to see who's looking back at me in the mirror. You could write a note to someone to let them know that you are one of the reasons that you know that you might be smiling. Like, perhaps someone's done something really nice for you that has made you feel good and left you with a bit of a smile. So acknowledge that and tell people that you're grateful for that. You could send a smiley emoji with your messages or on your social media tomorrow. Share some funny stories or jokes, because it's a great way to bring smiles as well. Or you could get some friends together and do something fun and just smile like crazy and share those smiles all over your social media. However you wish to celebrate National Smile Power Day, it is going to benefit everybody. Now, I've got a song especially for National Smile Day, and this is a song I've just talked about in the little bit of information before, by this guy called Uncle Cracker. What a name. And this song is Smile. Look, I don't know how great this song is, but I'm sure there'll be something nice to come out of it, and I'm sure it might make us smile a little bit. So let's pop this on, and then we'll be back, and we'll be talking to Christa about her beautiful work as a counsellor at Mindful Connections. We'll see you in a moment. There we go. Got all the buttons pressed. Oh, you're very comfortable there.
Yeah, she's borderline lap dog.
Laptop?
Lap dog.
Big.
Yeah. So, no, I thought she was going to get a bit bigger and turn into like a Labrador size, but this is it. Yeah.
Cute. How long have you had Snuffy for?
Over 5 years, so she's 5.
Yeah.
5.5, but I've had her since she was 10 weeks old.
Wow.
Hey, baby. Yeah.
Perfect, like, winter accessory.
Yes. Yeah.
You've got an amazing fur coat.
She does.
That's for sure.
Mops everywhere though, doesn't it? It's a pain.
Yeah, I do that too. My hair's everywhere.
Yeah, same.
Can everyone see Snuffy? Oh, just so cute. And quite comfortable there. I love it.
Do you have any animals?
Pet rock.
Pet rock. Easiest,
No.
easiest type of pet to look after.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's some snails in the garden. Occasionally we get some birds. We'd like to get some fish outside, but I just feel like they're either going to freeze to death or the birds might take them unless we put some wire.
Netting's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we probably don't have space for a pet because our house is full of cricket gear. Like every corner of the house has cricket gear because Shakti's a cricket coach.
Cool.
So in one corner we've got bats, and then in another corner there's like bags, and there's a box outside with helmets, and we've got this amazing storage area under the steps, and that's just full of cricket gear. So
Cool. Does he coach adults or kids?
both.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah, he's an ICC level 3 coach, so he's got his own coaching business.
Mm.
He's actually a qualified counsellor, and he's done a drug and alcohol
Cool.
counselling through WellTech
Yeah.
here in New Zealand, but he was never able to find work, so he's just now branched off into cricket coaching, which is his
Yeah.
passion.
That's interesting. They say there's a shortage in counsellors, but there's certainly not. We get inquiries for counsellors to work with us all the time.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's
Yeah.
really good. Because obviously that
It's
need.
the funding that's the issue.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a barrier for people to get counselling. So there's definitely the counsellors, just not the
Not the people
funding.
for, or not the funding
Yeah.
for people to access the
Mm.
counselling.
Mm.
That's hard. And I think, some people have access through their work, like through EAP and things like that, which is great, but yeah, if you want someone to help you, you want it to be accessible and available.
Exactly.
Oh, that is so cute. Too cute. Morning, everybody. Hello, if you are joining us today. We're going to go live in a second with our conversation with Christa. I'd love to know who you are, where you're from. If you've got any questions for us, please let us know. Well, there we go. That was a beautiful little song to kick off our show today, because right now I'm going to welcome Christa to the microphone, and we're going to have a chat about her work that she does. And I put the call out for guests recently who might like to come on to my show, because I really love to be able to share people's stories or things that they're doing in the community. And I have had quite a lot of people who have contacted me, and I think you were the first person, Christa,
Oh,
who
yay.
contacted me, and I'm curious to know what triggered your desire to do that. So I'm going to pop your microphone on and formally welcome you to the show. So hello.
Hi.
Here we are. Thank you for coming in on this chilly morning.
Thank you.
What else would you have been doing today?
I'd probably be taking Snuff for a walk, or sometimes I do some volunteering for an op shop. So that's quite exciting. I do that on Saturday morning sometimes as well. So
Oh,
yeah,
Up in Upper Hutt?
yeah, the Weasley.
What op shop's that? Because I'm a mad op shopper. I don't know what that op shop is.
Okay. So we have moved locations. We did used to be opposite the warehouse stationery near Countdown.
Oh. Was it a small shop?
Yeah, it
Ah.
was. And now our pet shop's in there.
Yeah.
And we've relocated to near Burger King.
Okay, right.
At the start of Upper Hutt. So
Okay,
yeah.
I'll be looking out for that, because
Awesome.
I'm part of the op shopping group here. Are you part of the op shopping group in New Zealand?
No.
Okay. So there's an op shopping group here in New Zealand, and I think it's just called Op Shopping New Zealand. And I found this group when we arrived here in 2020, and it might have been started around that time, just during or just after COVID. And it started by a lady called Fee, who lives up in Wanganui, and there was about, I think, 3,000 people when I joined the group. Now there is like over 80,000 people
Holy
in this
moly.
op shopping group, right?
Wow.
And people
I
are
have to look it
sharing.
up.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really
What's it
amazing.
called?
I think it's just Op Shopping New Zealand.
Okay.
And people are sharing things that they are finding throughout their op shop travels here in New Zealand. And one of the amazing things about this group is I love to share my outfits that I wear, and if I bought something from the op shop, I would share it in the group. And from that, people started to kind of like the things I was sharing, and obviously like the energy I was giving off in the group. and if I went to places, people would recognise me. And it's been quite a bizarre, beautiful thing because I have made some amazing friends through this group. I've met an amazing lady in Nelson who I caught up with when I was down there. Another lady who had seen me in the op shopping group, and we went to this, Shakti and I went to this event one night and we sat down and she's like, oh, I know you and I know that jacket because you just shared it in the op shopping group. So I've been into different op shops around New Zealand and people have gone, hello Jan, and it's like, I have no idea who you are, but they know me. So it's been a beautiful place for building connections. And I think that's one of the joys of sharing, you know, that you do get to meet people and you do get to build these beautiful relationships, and I think that's a really important thing. Anyway, off the op shops, hello. Hello. Now, as I said, I put the call out I think a week or so ago to ask for people to come on my show, and Christa was the first person who contacted me. She'd seen me in the group. So what was it about that?
What inspired me to come on the show? So I guess because Mindful Connections is a startup business, I started it myself, I thought it would be a really good opportunity to sort of get it out there more through radio.
Yeah.
And also sort of share our story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely. And that's what the Joy Temple program's all about, you know, sharing people's stories, which are often inspiring, encouraging, informative, or all of the above. And today on the show, Christa will be sharing her story and also playing some of her favourite songs. And let me tell you, she's got some great songs. I was getting them ready yesterday. I think this will be the first time on my show that we are going to play some death metal. So if death metal is your vibe, then yeah, today is the day, and I'm really curious.
Like, why not?
Why
you
not?
never hear death metal on a radio, and I'd listened to it when I was a teenager. Not so much now, but yeah.
It's obviously a song that has stuck with you and it
Yes.
has meaning for you. And I think music has such a beautiful, emotive feeling for us. You know, we can remember moments in time, events that transport us when we listen to certain music. So there will be death metal today.
Well, you good range. Yeah, I like all
Absolutely.
sorts of music.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think that's a question I want to ask about your music, because there is a range there. Does music play a really big part in your life?
Not
now?
really. I just like what I like. I don't really have anything that I follow or anything or absolutely love. I just, if I hear something, I like it, and and I listen to it. Yeah.
Cool. Well, we're going to hear it today, everybody. Now, you have started this business called Mindful Connections. But before we get there, one of the things you said to me as we were thinking about our show today was talking about fashion, nutrition, and you shared with me that you were studying to be a chef because you wanted to be a food critic.
Yes.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, so I did study to be a chef, and I'm actually a qualified chef, so that was cool. I did that for 8 years, and my goal from that was to become a food critic. And so you need to be a food, in order to be a food critic, you've got to have 10 to 15 years chefing under your belt first.
That's almost half a lifetime, isn't it?
So I was quite determined at the time, and then Google reviews took over. So basically anyone could be a food critic, and it sort of took over what I wanted to be. So I was just like, well, I love cooking. It's not a huge joy of mine doing it every single day in the kitchen, but I love cooking at home. So I've continued that, and I saw lots of mental health issues in the hospitality industry, and also in the fashion industry too, which was a hobby of mine, doing modelling. So yeah, so I thought, right, well, I'd love to help these people that have these issues, and of course I've always had counselling throughout my life whenever I felt like I needed it, so I've never really seen a stigma for it myself. But I know there is a huge stigma out there for counselling and looking after your mental health.
Yeah.
So I started studying to become a counsellor, and in my first year I did placement in 3 organisations, and they were all up to full capacity, which was quite a shock to me when people were asking for help now. They were either being turned away or put on a 6-month wait list, and it just didn't sit right with me when people were actually asking for help now, because it's a huge thing to ask for help and being told, sorry, we're full. So I rang up the New Zealand registration company and asked if I could have counsellors that are registered to see if they could contract me if I started my own company in counselling, own organisation, and they said yes, that's absolutely fine because you haven't completed your studies yet and you're not registered. Don't be a counsellor yourself. And I said, no, of course not. I just want to help people because I've seen this huge need for it myself firsthand. And that's how we started. I started Mindful Connections.
Wow, that's a beautiful story. And you know, sometimes that idea that you think, oh, will this work? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I think you have to follow those ideas. So obviously there was something for you that was like, yeah, this is going to work. Maybe I don't know if there's anything else out there like that. Is there? Not that we're promoting anybody else, but
there are a couple of bigger organisations that are global. I wanted to start at home first in my own country, in New Zealand, and maybe we could go global one day. We are online at the moment. We're hoping to get an office in the Hutt Valley soon.
cool.
Which will be a great starting point. People do like face-to-face more, but then also since COVID, people are used to Zoom meetings and things like that. So yeah, I think the timing was good, starting an online business just after COVID.
Nice. And one that people really do need. So it's great that that is available, you know, for people. And we'll talk a bit more about counselling. When you mentioned before about chefing and some of the mental health issues that were coming from that hospitality industry, like what were you seeing that was alarming for you or concerning for you in that industry?
I think quite a bit of depression and also a lot of addiction too in the hospo industry. Yeah.
I think Anthony Bourdain has been somebody who really, that's the story for him. And most people may be familiar with him. You know, he had that incredible show, No Reservations, where he travelled around the world. And, you know, from the outside, everything in his world looked so perfect.
Yeah.
But from the inside, it clearly wasn't. And, you know, it's such a shame that we get to that point in our life that we see no alternative but to take that ultimate decision. So it's lovely that there's a pathway, you know, for people to have that access. And then in terms of the modelling stuff, what were you kind of seeing in that space?
A lot of anxiety, body image as well, eating disorders, just a lot of self-doubt as well. And then, you know, in front of the camera, it was just like, almost like fake it till you make it kind of thing. And then off camera, you know, there were girls in fashion shows that would just be like crying before the show thinking they weren't good enough, and like really having to self-talk themselves to just get up and go get it done and make themselves look great in front of all these people when they felt horrible.
About themselves, and I think that body image part of it is that, you know, also something we can touch on here today as well. Tell us about your modelling career. What was your kind of work in fashion? What were you doing?
So I did a couple of photo shoots for just local brands, and I was also in a few fashion shows as well for, you know, local fashion shows too. So yeah, I found it really fun. It was a hobby for me, and I actually enjoyed it. So yeah, and I think in New Zealand you do, because there's really no money in it in New Zealand. But no, when I was a teenager, lots of people said, you know, why don't you go be a model? You're tall. And I'm like, okay.
Is that the only
cool.
criteria?
Well, you know, makeup and hair can make you look pretty, so, you know, I suppose, yeah, it's a pretty teenager too. So, yeah, I did a course for modelling when I was 17. I was quite nervous. Lots of us girls in that were nervous. And yeah, it was just a real confidence booster. And then it wasn't really until my, I guess, mid-20s that I got into actual fashion shows, you know, doing the catwalk and whatnot. But I found it really fun. So I'd actually had 2 children in my early 20s, and that did not hold me back at all. I kept myself fit and healthy, I guess, through nutrition. I was very conscious about what I ate coming out to fashion shows, and no, it was good. So.
Do you think when you look at what's happening kind of in the fashion industry now around diversity, we'll call it diversity, because as you kind of are aware, I've had some history in fashion as well. My sister and I had a clothing label that we started in Australia, which was based out of Fiji. We were part of Fiji Fashion Week for quite a few years. We did shows there. I think they've just had their recent Fiji Fashion Week. And when we first started in Fiji Fashion Week, we wanted to do plus size clothing, and the organiser or the owner of Fiji Fashion Week was not really on board with that, because that was not what was the acceptable thing in fashion, right? But we were like, no, we've got millions of women out there who don't fit into this tiny size 8, 10, 12 shape. We've got women who are, 14, 16, 20, 24, various sizes, and we wanted to include those in the joy of fashion.
Yeah.
Because clothing has such a beautiful way to help us design our identity. Clothing makes us feel joyous, and when you don't have a choice of what you can wear, you can feel like you're missing out. So we wanted to have this plus size clothing range, and we did these fashion shows. We were invited to New York to take part in Full Figure Fashion Week, which was a whole fashion show dedicated to full-figured women, and it was amazing. And the work I've done here since I've come to New Zealand has been for Dress for Success, where we have had some fundraising fashion shows, which you'll be invited to model when we run our next one. And we have had such inclusivity for those shows, from transgender through to people with accessibility issues. There has been no barriers in age. I was mentoring a lady who was in her 60s, and she took part as a model. And for her, and this is a really good example of what you're talking about, not feeling like you're worthy of being on the runway, there is this perception that to be a model, you have to look like this, act like this, be a certain age, size and shape. And for me it was like, that is BS. We should all have the opportunity to do something that firstly pushes us out of our comfort zone, but also makes us feel good about ourselves. So for this lady, in her early 60s, to be invited to do this was very frightening for her. She's like, I can't do it. She didn't want to tell anybody she was doing it. But once she started going through the process of trying on the clothes she was going to wear, learning about being able to walk on the runway, and then actually participating in the show, well, you could just see the light shine, right?
Yeah.
And so
the endorphins coming out. Yeah.
Yeah, and and
Well, in one way or another, we're all models because we all wear clothes, which
Absolutely.
are a form of fashion.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I love my clothes, and people always go, "How big's your wardrobe?" I say, "Oh, it's about 1 metre long," but it should be about 10 metres long because I've got so many clothes. I do have a bit of a clothes obsession. Now, shall we play a song? I think we
Yeah.
should play a song. Now, you have sent a whole lot of amazing songs today. I think there is
I
about.
should have brought my glasses.
No, that's okay. I can tell you what they are.
How about we play Staying Alive from Say Lolo? That is mine and my daughter's favourite song that we share together. That's our favourite song together. So we found it on TikTok when TikTok first came out, and we both thought it was really cool and different. So
Okay,
yeah, we've played
lovely.
it ever since.
Okay, well, this is Christa's first song, Staying Alive, by, what is it, Say Lulu. Okay, and you will recognise this song, everybody. We'll be back in a moment. You're listening to Hutt Radio. My name is Janie, and I am with Christa Duffy today. We are streaming on TikTok and YouTube at the Joy Temple, so you can jump online if you like, say hello, and join in the conversation with us behind the scenes. We'll be back in a moment. Here we go.
I actually haven't heard this song in so long. I just-
Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman's man, no time to talk.
This might be one of my dancing songs.
I've been kicked around.
Yeah, I've seen you play your little clips. That's so cool. I love that confidence.
Every day I dance. You know, we should talk about confidence today because I wasn't always a very confident person. I was very self-conscious.
Funny that you say that. So in this course that I did when I was 17, there was most of the girls were tiny and skinny. They were skinnier than me, probably taller than me too, and around my age. And then there was a girl who was a little bit older, and she was a bit chubby. It's just like she hadn't lost her puppy fat. That was all. But she was the most confident.
Good.
And she said she was doing this course not to be a model, but just to gain more confidence. And I was like, why? You're already so confident. Look at you, you're amazing. Didn't say that, but that's what I thought. And anyway, in the fashion show at the end of the course, because we had to do a fashion show, as part of it, she rocked the stage. She was just the best out of all of us. And my dad noticed it too. He was like, that girl that was a bit bigger, she was just so confident. If only the rest of you could look like her on stage, you would all get far in the modelling industry. And I was just like, okay. So I remembered what Dad said about that, and then I think that's what gave me the boost of confidence when I did start fashion shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. I think self-love is one of the biggest things that we can do for ourselves, right?
Absolutely.
In terms of our overall well-being and existence, you know, loving ourselves. So I'd like to talk a bit about that because that might be something that comes up in your sessions as well that you have with people. Thank you for joining in. How's everyone going today? We are here in the studio at Hutt Radio in beautiful New Zealand. If you have any questions for Christa, you can certainly pop them in the chat. I can't see anything.
I
Thank you.
definitely can't see from
Yeah.
here.
Let's have a look on YouTube. Morning. Hello. What's going on here, Lexa? Well, we're having a live radio show here in New Zealand on Hutt Radio. My show's called The Joy Temple. And today I have a guest, Christa, and we are talking about her life story and her beautiful counselling business that she has started up. And we're playing some of her favourite songs. And this one here is Staying Alive. Hello. Hello. Oh, so soft.
Yeah, she's a lovely girl.
And we have Snuffy here. Cute. Any other things you think you'd like to bring up today and talk about?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Have you had things done? Yeah, we'll really get into
And what
it.
about you? Are you happy with that thing?
Yeah, I'm always happy.
Yeah.
I'm always happy. Here we go, this is finished. Welcome back everybody. That was Say Lulu with Staying Alive. What a great cover that was. And I said to Christa, I'll probably have that as one of my dancing songs because every day I love to dance. It just brings me a lot of joy. Now we are talking today about a range of things. Christa has a business called Mindful Connections, which is an online counselling service where people can connect to a counsellor 24 hours a day, which is really fantastic. We've been talking about her work in the fashion industry, her work as a chef. So we've got lots of beautiful things that we can talk about today. And there was this, she felt there was a void in the ability to get hold of counselling. So you've started this incredible business. How long has it been running for? Oh, since after COVID, you said?
Yeah, after COVID. So it's actually been going, coming up 3 years soon. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about counselling, Christa, because you mentioned before about some of the stigma associated with counselling, how it can be inaccessible for people due to the time frame to get into it or potentially the cost involved. Tell us, what is counselling?
So counselling is basically talking to a neutral person that can actually listen to you, and in a safe space, and it's confidential. So I guess things that you probably feel that you can't talk to a friend or family member about, you can talk to a counsellor about, and also they can help you come up with a plan moving forward. So I guess get yourself to your normal self and where you want to actually be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, we have counselling, we have psychologists, psychiatrists, there's a whole range of mental health professionals out there who can help us. Is counselling more of a relaxed style of treatment that people might get, that which might be different to having to see like a psychologist or a psychiatrist?
Yeah. Yes, it is. Although some counsellors do have their specialties that you can see for like certain things, I guess, like maybe relationship issues or you know, self-improvement, things like that. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Now, I have had experience with counsellors over my lifetime, and I seem to remember when I was very young, my mum took me to a counsellor. It was horrific,
Oh, no.
and it was one of those things that it was because, you know, sometimes parents throw their kids into something without really telling them what they're doing or why they're doing it, okay? Because the parent sees something that might be going on with the child, but instead of, you know, talking to the child about how we can help, they just take them off to a counsellor, which is what kind of happened to me when I was younger. So for me, that was a bit of a traumatic experience. But as I got older, I began to see the role that counsellors would play in helping me to resolve things that were happening. And I've used counsellors for when my first marriage ended, when my second marriage ended. I have been fortunate enough to take wise counsel in somebody who could help me unravel certain things. I've also used counselling when my son was coming through his drug addiction, because as a parent, no matter how old you are, you will often feel that you are to blame for some of your children's issues. So again, counselling has helped me unravel, and I like to think about that as unravelling, because we might have a lot of stuff going on in our head and we don't quite know how to clearly get to that place where we can start to shift those things and free us up. Yeah, so for me, counselling has been really valuable. But it's something that I only will do if I really get to that point where I can't solve something for myself. Yeah?
Yeah.
So what kind of things do people come to you for counselling for?
So I'm not a counsellor personally
For your
myself.
organisation.
There's a range of different things. So we've got 12 counsellors who have their own different specialties. People can find them on our website, mindfulconnections.co.nz. But yeah, there's such a range, and we have a policy where if you don't connect with your counsellor, because not everyone does connect, then you can choose another counsellor within the team.
Mm-hmm.
So you should really leave your counselling session feeling better than when you went in, not like you've got more of a weight on your shoulders after. So we do have that in place because not everybody connects,
Yeah.
and that's okay. So people can choose someone else if
Yeah.
they feel that it's not
I've
good
had
fit.
Yeah, I've had that happen. I remember going to, so, you know, a lot of big organisations have an EAP service, which is an employee assistance program where you have access to free counselling that's paid for by your workplace, which is, you know, fantastic. And I have used that in Melbourne when I lived there. I've used that here in New Zealand on a couple of occasions, and it, you know, it is for a range of things. And I went to see this guy because I wanted to try and find ways to help me step more into those things I felt passionate about, right? And to be able to do more of those things. This guy was just useless. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but he wasn't the right person for me. So it was like, when I made my next appointment, it's like, I don't want to see that person. But you sometimes feel uncomfortable saying
Yeah, you
that,
feel
right?
like because you've already booked with them, you need to see them again, and maybe next time it will go well. I would just trust your gut and go with someone else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really important. The other time I've used counselling here in New Zealand was after I had a major heart surgery a few years ago. I just became suddenly unwell and had to have emergency surgery because they discovered fluid around my heart and in my lung and behind my lung. And after that happened, I was unable to work, and I just kind of felt for many people, work is their rock, okay? And when you don't have your rock, you kind of feel like you're just a little bit blowing in the breeze. And for me, not being able to go to work was something that had a profound effect on my well-being. And I sought counselling there partly because I had been through a trauma, like having this surgery was an incredible trauma, but then also because I need to now find some foundational ways to start to feel like I've got something to secure me. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about counselling is that it can be for a range of things. It's not just for our relationships, for ourself, you know, it can be for our finances, anything can help us, you know, it's there to help us, so that's a really beautiful thing. Christa, I asked you the other day about what one of those kind of topical things are that people are seeking help for, and you mentioned stress and anxiety. Why do you think that is? What do you think's going on why people are feeling so stressed and anxious?
I'm actually not sure personally. I would say the expectation of just everything being so fast paced in the world is just made people really, really stressed.
Yeah, I see it in my workplace. Like, there's lots of people who are always talking about, oh, this is stressing me. Anxiety is a very big word that people use, and for me, I'm really conscious of my previous world of anxiety, where when I was younger I had panic attacks and struggled to leave the house. So I've been very aware of the role anxiety has played in my life, and so I'm really conscious of trying to live really calmly and peacefully so that I'm not exacerbating that kind of stress. But yeah, I just find it really hard to see other people, you know, struggling like that. And especially when we've got so much shit happening out in the world right now that people are just filtering into their system unintentionally. Like as soon as you open a social media, it's there.
Yeah, well, there is that worry of thinking that other people might be thinking this way of us, when actually people are just worried about what other people are thinking about them. So no one really cares too much about you. They're more worried about themselves. But of course, we're always worried about what others are thinking, when that's not the case at all, because everyone's too worried about themselves.
Yeah, and you know, to kind of put that in a different framework, when you hear people talking about learning public speaking, for example, if you're getting up to speak in public, our TikTok has just stopped. Let me pop that back on. If you're getting up to speak in public, people always say, "Oh, but people will be looking at me, and I'll feel self-conscious." The reality is that people are always worried about themselves, right? They're not worried about what you're doing on the stage.
That's what you want. You want people to be listening to you when you're public speaking. It might feel really uncomfortable, but as long as you're getting the message out there, that's the main thing.
Exactly. Exactly. It's and stress is one of those things that it affects us all, and you know, it doesn't have to be negative stress. It can be positive stress, and I'm somebody who sometimes struggles with positive stress because I get excited about something and I think, oh, I feel stressed about this, and then I realise it's not actually bad stress, it's good stress. Which kind of feels a bit counterintuitive, doesn't it? And I was listening to some podcast recently about this person who had taken their child to get some help because they were struggling with stress and anxiety, and the person who was treating this young person said, what I want you to do is to just start spinning around. Like, you know when you're a kid and you stand outside and you spin around and your arms are out and you spin around and you get all lightheaded and you get all giddy. And so this kid did that, and they said, how are you feeling? And they said, well, I feel really good. But it's exactly the same feeling as you have when you're experiencing stress and anxiety, but you're doing something fun to cause those same feelings. So I think sometimes if we can reframe the way we think about our stress and anxiety, it can have a more positive kind of approach as well. Yeah, wild, hey? And with your counselling, how do people, so people can just ring up and
They can ring up, or we have an online booking system, so you go on the website, see a therapist that you like. All our therapists have a video on themselves, and they're sort of saying what someone might be struggling with and how they can help them, and then there's a booking link on their profile. So
and 24/7 availability.
So a lot of our counsellors are in New Zealand, and then we've also got one in South Africa and one in the Philippines to make up that time difference.
That's really cool. I feel really excited to think that you've taken this idea and actually turned it into a reality. And I think that's something a lot of people struggle with when we have, and I know I'm someone who has this, I have these amazing ideas, and then I think, how can I make this into a vision of reality? And sometimes it just doesn't work. But
I think with that, there's that fear of what if. But of course, you never know how it's going to go unless you actually do it.
Absolutely. Should we have another song?
Yep.
What would you like to play this time out of your Magic 6?
We could play the death metal one.
Oh, everybody!
That you were talking about before.
Okie dokes. So this is a band called 6 Feet Under, and this is TNT, which is a cover of the Akka Daka.
Something that people will be
AC/DC
familiar with.
song.
Yeah.
And tell us about your journey into death metal? Why?
Yeah,
then,
so
where, how?
I think when I was 12, a friend of mine was like, listen to this, you know, and like we used to talk to each other in a funny voice, you know, like that really deep, silly voice, and like for a laugh. And she was like, this is just like how we talk to each other. And she was playing it to me because her older brothers used to listen to it, and we were like, oh, this is so cool. And then she burnt it on a CD for me, a few songs of death metal. And then again in my late teens, I came across a girlfriend who was really into death metal as well, and we'd just listen to it with each other. So yeah.
So it's been like a favourite for quite a period of time. So do you still listen to it very much, do you think?
Not anymore.
No.
Not really.
Yeah,
But I
it
just
is.
thought, why not?
Yeah,
I
why
haven't listened
not?
to it in years, so yeah.
It's you know, adding a little bit of diversity to the program, which is really
Absolutely.
cool. There's a coffee shop out in Seaview called Compass Cafe. I don't know whether you've ever heard of it, or it's right on the marina.
No.
And it's just like it's a tiny little cafe, and it is absolutely really adorable because you kind of drive into the car park, and there's a bit like a building, and then there's their little shop front, but you can actually walk down a little ramp and sit literally on the waterfront there, right? They've got like a pontoon, and they've got some tables. It's really, really cute little place if you're looking for somewhere nice and different to go for a coffee. They've got some, they sell some Southland cheese rolls and some biscuits and things like that. But opposite this coffee shop, there's like one of those big storage facilities where people have those, like, you know, like a carport, and you roll it up and you put all your stuff in and you pay to store your stuff. I was out there one day and I was leaving the coffee shop and I could hear this noise, and I'm like, what on earth is this noise? And then I realised it was like a band rehearsing in one of the storage facilities across the road in this kind of compound. They were playing death metal. It was so loud. It was going across the whole of the suburb. It was like, oh my God, I couldn't even imagine what their ears were feeling. I'm sounding like my mother now. what they must have been feeling. Anyway, everybody, we are going to play some death metal on the Joy Temple program today. I'm with Christa Duffy from Mindful Connections, and this is one of her songs that she has chosen. And it is a cover version of the AC/DC song TNT. This is 6 Feet Under. We'll be back after this.
How good.
What a song! So this is how you and your friend used to talk?
Yeah. I was going to do an example on here, but then I lost
You can do an
confidence.
example.
No,
Don't lose
like
confidence.
even in the morning, my husband will be like, "Good morning." You know how men have a really deep voice when they wake up, and I'll be like, "Good morning," like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
listen to it.
yeah. And then every now and again, when the kids like do something or say something silly, I just replicate it back in my silly voice, and they look at me and they're like, "Oh my
I
God,
love
you're
it.
such a weirdo."
I love it. Oh, that's light-hearted fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you've got to make life fun.
You do. You absolutely do. Hello, everybody. Good morning, Amanda. Thanks for joining us. Hello over here on YouTube. We are listening to 6 Feet Under. This is some death metal. I almost imagine hearing like the Muppets
Oh yeah,
doing
yeah.
this, you know, like Animal on the guitar.
Yeah. Like Grover playing
Yeah.
the drums.
Feels a bit like that.
How cool. We should put in a request for them to do this. Yeah. There's some death metal Muppet.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. All right, what are we going to talk about next? dance.
Yeah, I think that'll be really cool.
What a song.
I wonder if my dad's listening, he'll be like, oh my gosh, I remember that.
Oh, I should have sent you the link for the station. I normally send that to people.
That's okay. I did put the story up, so
Oh, yeah.
cool. That's about it.
But did you
basically.
say you're listening to Hutt Radio in your special voice?
No,
No? Do you want to talk in your special voice?
if you want me to.
Welcome back, everybody. That was 6 Feet Under with TNT. And Christa was just saying that her and her girlfriend used to talk in that voice, and she did do a little demonstration for us. Could you tell us?
What do you want me to say, Jan?
You're listening to Hutt Radio.
You're listening to Hutt Radio.
Whoa! How good was that? I love it. I love it. That's your special talent, is it?
Oh, totally.
Secret talent. Do you
Yeah,
have
it's
any?
my party trick.
Your party trick. Do you bring that out at parties?
No.
No. Do you have any special party tricks? Like, is there something that you do that?
Not really. No.
I'm always the one who's on the dance floor first because I love dancing. So,
Awesome.
I remember once in Melbourne we went to I think it's the Victoria Markets, and there was some band on, and nobody was dancing. They were so good. They were so fun. No one was dancing, and so I just got up there and I'm just like dancing away, and then other people started dancing, and
that's
then
so
more
cool.
people started
That's
dancing.
such a good feeling too, when you're the only one dancing, and then by the end of it, everybody's dancing.
Everyone
yeah.
was dancing.
That's
and
so cool.
this band gave me a CD to thank me for getting the party started.
Oh,
so
how good.
I guess that's my party trick, getting on the dance floor. But yeah, does that make your throat hurt when you talk like that?
No,
No.
no, like I said, like, I don't know what it was, but like my little friend and I, when we were 12, used to talk like that all the time, and we just thought we were so funny and silly, and yeah. And then
Nice.
every now and again to the kids at home, I'll talk in my silly voice. I call it my silly voice. And the kids just think I'm such a weirdo.
Sometimes my sister and I used to talk like Patty and Selma off The Simpsons.
Oh, yeah.
Because they used to talk like, hello Selma, hello Patty, how are you going? So we'd sometimes talk like that as well. Yeah, just all a bit of fun,
Yeah.
total fun. Now, let's talk about confidence. I think this is a really important thing that we should be discussing today, not only in terms of counselling, but in terms of life, because we were talking before about in the modelling industry, you know, needing that confidence to get up and, you know, obviously walk in front of people, but to just start to feel good within yourself. So
Yeah.
let's-
Self-confidence, self-love.
let's
Yeah.
talk about that. So have you ever struggled with self-love? Oh, you obviously when you shared about doing the modelling before that you just were struggling a bit there. Do you think that was, you know, there could be an age thing, lack of life skills, lack of self-love? What do you think?
Yeah, maybe
that
lack
kind
of life skills actually, like you'd say, because I did my first modelling course when I was 17, and I think we were chatting when a song was on actually, and I was telling you that there was this girl in the course who was a little bit bigger than the rest of us, and she was the most confident, and as part of the course, at the end of the course, we had to do a fashion show with everything that we'd learned, and friends and family could come along, and my dad said to me after, the girl that was the big one, she was the most confident, and if the rest of yours could look like that and have that confidence, you'd all go far. And, you know, I felt like I was a shell. I was a nervous wreck in that fashion show. It was scary.
Yeah.
And, you know, that stuck with me. So I always ever since, you know, in my 20s, whenever I did a fashion show, I just thought of that girl in the course.
Nice.
That very first course that I did, and I thought, well, if she could be confident and really brave and just get herself out there and make what she was wearing look awesome, I can do that too.
Yeah, I'll have
Yeah.
what she's having.
Yeah.
You know, I mentioned about life skills, right? Like when you're 17 years old, I've had a guest in my show last year, and she had one. It was like I can't remember what it was, but she had started this thing through the Health Commission around making accessibility for refugees, right? To have all of their brochures printed in different languages and have really accessible information to people who have come from overseas. She was 17, right? And she'd won this big award through Deloitte. And I'm really sorry that I can't remember exactly what it was for, but at 17, to see her confidence and her ability and drive and passion was just amazing. When I was 17, oh God, I was useless. Apart from learning to drive a car, which was my big, you know, my big achievement at 17, I didn't have any life skills. I didn't have any confidence. I was just living in a world of panic, anxiety. And you know what, as time goes by, you know, I'm nearly 59 now, I have really pushed myself to develop confidence, to develop self-love, to develop the joy of experimentation. And I was saying on one of my TikToks the other day that, you know, life is an experiment, and we need to just do more of what it is that makes us happy and brings us joy, and do less of the stuff that doesn't make us happy and bring us joy. So for me, confidence has been about self-acceptance. I lived a long time in my life where I hated looking in the mirror. I had no confidence. I didn't like the person I saw looking back. I didn't feel that she had anything to offer the world. And that's a really awful place to be in. And I think a lot of people feel that kind of thing.
That was dependent on your situation at the time as well? Who you were around in your environment?
I think it was just my awkwardness of life. It could definitely been the environment, it could be the situation. I think as you start to grow up, you also start to want to break free into your own thinking and your own direction in life. And so I just struggled. But what happened for me then was that this period of panic attacks set in, and for a long time I didn't know what they were. I was crippled by those things. I had a child when I was young. I had that marriage ended. I felt this sense of rejection. So for me, there was nothing in my heart and soul that made me feel like I was a worthy person. And I don't think I'm talking just for myself. I think a lot of us feel that. And you know, in my I have a full-time job, but outside of my work I do mentoring and coaching, and what I see is people do struggle with their self-esteem and self-worth, right? So to be able to go on that journey of building confidence and feeling good about myself is something that I feel really proud of, and something that I openly encourage other people to do. And whether you're 17, 27, 37, 70, it's never too late, right?
That's
to
right.
start to do that.
Yeah.
So when you were doing this modelling and you took that approach of really not giving a hoot and getting up there and doing it, did that make you feel more?
It did.
Make you feel better?
And not only that, I was starting to get put in winning outfits of the fashion shows.
So like the showstopper.
Yeah,
What-
more
yeah.
or less.
Yeah.
And that was also a really good feeling because, you know, in the winning outfit is, and it would be, you know, whatever that outfit was called, and I was wearing it. So I'd walk down the stage with the designer, and she would show off the outfit with me in it, and it was actually a really good feeling. That was a confidence booster in itself. So I feel that, you know, if I never really had that confidence, it wouldn't have showed on the outside.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was good fun. Yeah.
And there is part of that about, you know, what's happening behind the scenes. You are there getting ready. You've got people all over you doing hair, makeup. You know, it's quite chaotic in the back of a fashion show.
Which I loved as well, because I'm not good at makeup personally myself. I feel like if I put makeup on myself, I look like a clown. You know, I just can't do it.
I'm sure
But-
you don't. I'm sure you
But
don't.
it was great being doted over by a makeup artist, doing my makeup and hair,
Yeah.
you know, and I would look great and I would feel great, and it would be like just this whole
It's a
day of
transformation, isn't it?
dressing up, wearing something really cool and different, because usually clothing and fashion is different and
Yeah.
really eccentric, and yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. And I see that in the shows I've done for Dress for Success, you know, to have people who come in to model for these shows and feel, firstly, that they don't, you know, their confidence is quite, no, I shouldn't say their confidence is low, but when you're going into something that is unknown, there's always going to be
It
a
is
bit of fear.
nerve-wracking. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So to have these people suddenly agree to do a fashion show is one thing, but then to have them actually start to go through the process of, hey, now we're going to come and do some fittings, and now we're going to learn how to walk for the show, and then on the day you're going to come and get your hair and your makeup done, and to see the transformation of what has taken place, it's just beautiful, right? You know, we've had a group of people who never knew each other. They've all come together to start to prepare for this show. They've all come together in this, often what is a tiny room, where you've got enough hairspray to, you know, clog everybody's lungs up. You've got people doing makeup. You're rushing around getting things ready, and the excitement behind the scenes is very, well, it's exciting. That's the word I want to use. And then to see them actually take that step into the unknown and do something that they never believed they could do, I just think it's beautiful.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a memory that stays with them that is just, it's special for me being part of that, and it's special for them to be part of that. So it's really, yeah, it's nice. to
And
have
there
that
are
opportunity.
lots of compliments backstage as well. When you're all dolled up, people compliment you, and you know, you egg each other up, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, you look great, look at that. And then you get your outfit on, and then you get even more compliments because you just look so good, and it really kind of fires you up to get out and show it off on stage.
Yeah. But why have we got to wait to that moment where we do have this kind of mask on to feel that? You know, I believe we should be feeling that from the moment we get out of bed to the moment we go to bed, right? And this is just a part of the enhancement of what's happening. But
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. I think that can come with confidence. So I don't actually own a pair of tracksuit pants.
don't you?
No,
Why not?
because I don't want to just chuck on tracksuit pants all the time. I think I can just put on clothes that make me feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, why should I wear tracksuit pants just because they're comfortable, you know? My
I
other
love a
clothes,
trackie.
my clothes feel comfortable and I feel great in them, which is a comfort in itself to actually feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that is, you know, you wear what makes you feel good. I love a tracksuit because, I don't know, it just, for me, it just senses a bit of relaxation, a bit of pressure
Kind of
off.
like letting your hair down and just, you know,
Yeah.
being comfy at home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I'm somebody who loves to either, like, dress up or not care.
At all. Yeah.
You know, I don't have any inhibitions or fears around those things. I just feel like every day I'm just going to do what makes me feel good. And if that's wearing something that is a lot of fun, or if it's wearing something that is, you know, like you should see my tracksuit I wear at home. Sometimes it's really grotty, but that's okay. I don't
Yeah.
really mind because that's not the essence of who I am. You know, that's just something I'm wearing
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes the warehouse has some really good tracksuits on sale, everybody. But it is interesting, you know, I remember hearing stories about women who, when they would wake up early and go and put all their makeup on before their husbands woke up because they never wanted to be seen without their makeup. And I just don't know if I could deal with that
Yeah.
pressure.
Dolly Parton is a great example of that. She never takes her makeup off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's pretty
Yeah.
special, our Dolly, though. She's a very cool lady. I love it. Now, I think we should play another song. We're coming up to 10:28. This is the Joy Temple program on Hutt Radio. My name is Janny and I'm with Christa today. We've been talking about counselling and she's been sharing her journey of becoming a chef, some of her things about modelling that she's done. We've been talking confidence. I think we've probably still got a bit more we can talk about, but let's have another song, hey?
Cool. How about the opposite of death metal? And we can go into a bit of rap, which I used to listen to when I was a teenager also. So, do we have NWT there?
Oh, I don't think I had NWT. AWOL Nation.
Well, I suppose we could play. What about Harajuku Girls from Gwen Stefani? So
Yep.
I used to play this song whenever I had matinee fashion shows. So a fashion show the next day, you know, 2 days in a row. You know, I'd just play it and feel like the vibe of the song was just so cool, like for fashion.
Love
It was
it.
great.
Okay, we're going to play Harajuku Girls by Gwen Stefani. Where were you doing your fashion shows at? Who were they kind of for?
So one of them was the Eco Show. Have you heard of that?
No.
So that was in the Hutt. So lots of all of the clothing was actually made by upcycled clothing.
Wow.
Yeah. Which was awesome. There were lots of really cool garments in there. And then also the Oversew Fashion Awards in Greytown.
I've been in New Zealand now for 5 years, so maybe those things are not,
Yeah.
I haven't probably had exposure to knowing of those things, but I think I want to know more about them
And
now.
then I've been in a couple of bridal shows as well,
Yeah.
which are very different.
I bet.
Yeah.
Oh, those dresses, imagine. Heavy. Okay, we're going to play Harajuku Girls. You're listening to Hutt Radio. My name's Janny. This is the Joy Temple, and I'm with Christa Duffy today. We'll be back in a moment. Here we go. This is a beautiful song.
Have you heard it?
I was listening to it last night when I was getting ready. I don't know where that other song was. I don't remember seeing it on the thing.
That's okay.
There was two versions. There was like a shorter version or a longer version. So I thought, I'll get the longer version.
Oh, wow.
Excuse me. I'm recording our show today, so I'll be able to pop that back up on the website.
Awesome. And so I know with Meta now, the Meta lives only last about a month now, and then they delete themselves. Is that the same with YouTube, or
No,
does
YouTube's all the
YouTube last
time.
forever? Oh, awesome. That's really good to know.
Yeah, it's all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did a few Facebook Lives with counsellors a while ago, and they're gone.
Oh, yeah, they're only 30 days.
Yeah. And I didn't realise that, so I was just like, I would have recorded otherwise.
Yeah. I got a recording program which records music and video. So if you needed a copy of the actual recording, I can record the whole I can probably record all this stuff, but on YouTube it's going to be there the whole time
Awesome.
as well.
I'm wondering if because Mindful Connections has a YouTube account, so I'm wondering if I could maybe get the link in
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
if that's even
absolutely.
possible. I don't know.
We'll make it possible.
Cool.
We can do that. She's so good, Gwen Stefani, isn't she?
Love her.
She never ages.
So lucky. Probably because she's got all that money as
She
well.
would pay, I'm sure she probably pays for a bit of work. Right, what are we going to wrap up with? Oh, we're
I'm
talking
happy
about,
to keep going over confidence.
yeah?
It's such a broad topic
Right.
that's not talked about much.
Okay.
But then, whatever you feel.
No, let's talk
Yeah.
more confidence. How would you encourage people to get confidence?
Self-talk. Self-talk is great. And just really getting people to understand that they don't need to worry about what others are thinking. You know,
Yeah.
like, just be yourself.
Yeah, let's talk more about confidence. Thank you for joining in today. We are live on Hutt Radio today doing the Joy Temple program. There's Christa. She's got her beautiful dog Snuffy in the studio with us. Can I get a photo of us as well?
Yeah, that'd be great.
With Snuffy.
What's Snuff? Come here, Snuff.
Good girl, baby.
Come see Mama. Oh.
She's trying to get Snuffy up.
Come on.
Look at Snuffy.
If only you could talk, Snuff.
Oh, what stories would you have?
Right.
Oh, got the flash on. Why not? Let's turn it off. Everybody say Snuffy! Snuffy! There we go. Oh, that song's finished. Welcome back, everybody. That was Gwen Stefani and Harajuku Girls. It is 10:36. You're listening to Hutt Radio. My name is Jenny, and with me in the studio today is Christa Duffy from Mindful Connections. We have been talking about counselling, modelling, chefing, and we're going to keep the conversation going about confidence because while we were off air, Christa said that this is a topic that we could explore a bit more today because of the necessity for people to understand confidence and how they can build confidence. So, what do you think confidence is, Christa? Oh, here's your microphone.
Okay.
What do you think confidence is?
Confidence, I suppose it's just feeling good about yourself or I guess about a certain topic as well. So I guess confidence is just feeling good and strong and I guess not worrying or limited worry. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know people have said to me, oh, you seem very confident. And as I said before, I wasn't always confident. But what I have done is pushed myself to discover confidence. And that has come through going on that journey of self-love. And I really strongly believe that when we can love ourselves without condition, when we can love ourselves openly and freely, then that really helps to build our confidence. And also not giving a damn about what anybody else thinks
Absolutely.
is really important for
Yeah,
confidence.
that's really important.
Totally.
Mm.
And you have children. How do you talk to them about confidence? Is this comfy?
Yeah, that's good. How do I talk to the kids about confidence? I actually don't recall having a conversation. I think just showing and leading by example is key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what I think I see out in the world is a lot of pressure on young people through what they're exposed to in social media, from wanting to be like other people or think that they have to do something to be liked by other people, which is absolutely not the case. We need to develop that ability and strength to just start to uncover who we are and live as that person who we are. So I think the desire to follow your own pathway is something that can be very difficult because there is so much pressure from other people, right?
Yeah, that's
to
true.
to be influencing us. And I just wrote, like, how do we encourage confidence? And you said it is in you. How do you think that's in you? Like, for some people, I think, I don't know that they're born confident, but I think maybe they live in an environment where confidence is something that is a
An
part of their
expectation or just
norm.
it's part of their cultural life. Yeah.
Like the model you
Family.
were talking about,
Mm.
right? She had confidence. Like, where has that come from? And it may have nothing to do with her body. It may be the way she's been brought up to just constantly have that self-belief
Yeah.
that she is amazing and fantastic and worthy. So I just think it's really important that we do those things to help us build the confidence, and also to identify what those things are we feel are our weaknesses. Yeah, so for me, my weaknesses were my inability to feel like I could hold conversations with people, and like, look at me now having a radio show, like from one extreme to the other.
Yeah.
My lack of confidence was around how I looked, so it was around learning to love myself.
Mm-hmm.
My lack of confidence was around believing that I had anything to offer to the world, so I went and not educated myself through university, but educated myself in life. So those are things that I've done to build confidence. What other things have you done to help build your confidence?
What have I done to build my confidence? I think, like you say, it's a lot of just living.
Yeah.
Like, I think as you get older, you gain confidence in more ways, and you sort of at peace with yourself, really.
Yeah.
You don't worry so much like you once did when you were younger, and then you look back and think, why was I even worried? Like,
Yeah.
there's literally no reason for it.
Yeah.
I was actually, you're in your prime when you're young, so make the most of it and enjoy.
Yeah. But we
Yeah.
don't see that, right? We
No.
don't see that at the time. And I like that you use the word feeling at peace with yourself, and I think that is such a big part of life, right? Being able to discover what it is that brings you peace and brings you joy, and having those things be prominent in your life. Like, if we're not feeling peaceful within ourselves, nothing is going to feel good for us. Yeah.
Acceptance is a big thing as well.
Mm.
Just accepting that you're you.
Yeah.
And
And it's a hard thing to do, and as I said, I've seen this with women who I've mentored who don't feel that they are good enough, and they're still living with the expectations of people who, and this is not to be disrespectful to people, but people who are no longer with them on the planet. Somebody's mother might have said something to them when they were younger, and it has resonated and lived with them for 50 years. And I think part of our ability to live happily and confidently is to just let go of the beliefs of other people as well.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have our own beliefs.
And you find that people that do criticise normally have their own insecurities?
Yeah.
So that can just be like a barrier for themselves, or you know, like you know, they try and bring you down with them rather than try and pick you up
Yeah.
or make you feel good. So
Yeah.
it's really something that we need to focus on ourselves, is make, you know, really good self-talk. Yeah, and like you say, you know, you look in the mirror and smile at yourself every morning.
Or put
I
a
think
note
that's
on the mirror
great.
that says, I love you, I love you.
Do
And
you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
great. Well,
there-
that shows you're so confident, you know.
I've made a decision to explore confidence in my life, and I actually read an amazing book when I was younger by Louise Hay called You Can Heal Your Life, and that is a transformational book in terms of learning to love ourselves and understanding that, you know, our body is our friend, and I think some people don't believe their body is their friend. So we have hatred towards our body, which then in turn can cause illness. And when we can learn to be fully accepting of who we are as a whole, then that peace comes.
Absolutely.
It does come. And so yeah, I do feel confident, and I do feel like it's been a lifelong journey for me, and I wake up every day feeling joyful and happy, and it's a nice feeling. Christa, it is 10:44. It is going to be time for us to wrap up our conversation now.
Okay.
But before we go, we will play another song, but before we go, I do need to ask you, firstly, one of the messages that we wanted to give out today around counselling was about acting early. Can you share with us what it means to act early?
Yeah. I'm happy that you brought that up. So, just acknowledging that something feels off, you're not feeling yourself, just reach out and chat to someone. It could be a family member or a friend, and if you don't feel confident doing that, you can talk to a counsellor who's confidential and won't share any of your business. Which is people's biggest worry is that, you know, if they tell someone, then they're going to tell someone else. And counsellors don't do that. It's all confidential, unless there is a safety issue, whether you're at risk to yourself or someone else. So talk
It's a safe
before
space.
it gets worse.
Yeah.
You can still get help when it's worse, but get on top of it early,
Yeah.
and you'll feel so much better for it. And you know, counselling is becoming more normalised now in New Zealand. In America, it's actually really normal. People talk about their therapist at the dinner table, and it would be great to have that in New Zealand eventually as well. You know, it's just normal to see your counsellor or therapist.
Yeah, normalise it.
Yeah.
And why shouldn't we be excited about something that is going to help us feel better within ourselves, help us make our life better, help us have better relationships with people, help us feel happier? Like, what's not to love about having that
Absolutely.
available to us?
Yeah. That's right.
I just love the idea, and as I said, I've used counselling before, and sometimes it can be sometimes you can solve your own problem, right? But it's nice to have somebody who you are sharing all that stuff with. But it could just be one word or one sentence or one paragraph that can make all the difference to that problem that you are going to seek help for. And you can walk away going, it all makes sense now.
Yeah.
And here I am on a pathway to feeling better. So acting early is really important. And Christa, I want to know what brings you joy.
So joy. Common sense brings me joy, actually. So there is a difference between joy and happiness. So joy is long term. Happiness is in the moment. Yeah, so I think with joy, for a long-term thing, yeah, common sense, you know, just really, people using their common sense
Yeah.
brings me a lot of joy.
Oh, good.
Long-term, yeah.
Good.
Mm.
And that's your favourite joyful thing. I love it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm going to, we've got a couple more songs that on your list, so let's play one last song that you have shared with me today to
Okay.
play. And then I will say goodbye to Christa and just do a couple of little public service announcements that I need to do as part of my show today. So what would you like to take us out with from your segment today?
Alright, how about we go out with Led Zeppelin, Whole Lotta Love?
You got it. You got
Oh.
it. Right, I'm going to hit it. There we go.
You need fooling, baby, I'm not fooling.
I've been given a grant to start doing some dancing, to bring dancing to the
So that you got more funding for that.
Well, I just applied for a grant
Oh,
and
wow.
they're giving me about $900 to pay for some venue, to buy a music license, and I just want to take dancing out to the community and people
Yeah.
feel
Oh,
good.
that's so cool.
Yeah, have good fun.
I was gonna get into some line dancing.
Oh.
Yeah, I used to love line dancing as a kid. I did it at a school camp and I thought it was so fun. And then I did like American country dancing earlier this year with a group of ladies. I think the youngest one was like 70 and the oldest one was in her 90s.
Wow.
And that was a real experience, just hanging out with women that were much older than me. It was fascinating.
That's cute.
Yeah.
How old
I am 36.
are you? 36.
Yeah.
Oh my God. 36. Wow.
So yeah, that was really cool. But you know, I like dancing. Usually when I've had a couple of wines, I'll dance really amazingly and yeah.
It's good for the spirit, it's good for the soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Comes with confidence too.
Yeah, I guess it does.
But then also I hear people say that they kind of forget themselves and who they are and just enjoy the moment when they dance and like it's, yeah, really
And that's a
cool.
really nice thing. And I just think anything we can do to bring more to others and make them feel good about their life and themselves, I think it's just a really nice thing to do. So hopefully, like your work, you're doing that, and hopefully my dancing will bring some joy to people once I get it all set up and happening.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. All right. Woo! We didn't talk about why you love this song.
No, we didn't.
What's the story about the song?
So the song, my dad used to listen to a lot of Led Zeppelin. It was either going to be the Rolling Stones or Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Is one of the songs that I grew up listening to as a kid. So yeah,
So it has like childhood memories.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah. We'd listen to really loud music. It was so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Music's good, hey, and it's takes you away, transports you. Right, where's my public service announcements? Okay, well we are done. Well, you're done. I'm not done. You're welcome to stay around to the end of the show. We've got another group who come in at 11, so I've got to
Oh, yeah.
be out by then.
Yeah. If you want me to disappear now, I'm happy
Whatever
to.
you like to
Yeah.
do.
Oh.
Whatever works for you.
What do you want to do, Snuff? Hey? Do you want to head off or should we hang around a bit more?
So you said Snuff's a support dog.
She is my support baby. Yeah, so she's not a service dog, she's
Yeah.
a support dog. So with service dogs, they do need to be registered as a service dog. But support dogs just give you love.
Yeah. can't have enough of that. Cute. Still going.
Should we head off then, Snuff? While the song's still going.
Still going.
Anyway, can I give you a hug?
Yes, of course.
Thank you so much. That was a really fun time. I enjoyed it more than I thought.
You're welcome back anytime. Christa's saying goodbye now. She's heading off.
Alright.
I'm not going yet. I've still got a radio show to do. Bye, Snuff.
And enjoy your time in the snow.
We will. Thank you. Thanks for the coffee. Thank you for coming. Okay. Anytime you want to come back on, you're welcome. Yeah. We'll find something else to talk about. Yeah. Awesome.
What do you want to talk about? Maybe. Alright.
See you. Thanks. I'll send you the recording. And it's all on YouTube. Oh, yeah. See ya. Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to the Joy Temple. This is Hutt Radio. My name is Jenny. And Christa has just left, and she had her beautiful dog, Snuffy, here with her today. Oh my goodness, she was so cute. And so was Snuffy. Now, it is 10:54 a.m. We are going to be wrapping up in a minute. Now, I just realised I haven't told you what the weather is today. I've just been busy talking and having a great time here with Christa in the studio. So let's have a quick look at the weather before I end the show. Now, today it is going to be a top of 12, heading for a low of 2 degrees tonight, everybody. That is really chilly. Currently feeling like 11. It's partly cloudy. There'll be strong southerlies, which will be easing this evening. Tomorrow, on the 15th of June, we're heading for a top of 13 and a low of 4. There'll be morning frost possible about the Hutt Valley with easterlies easing for a time in the afternoon. And the 15th of June is my sister's birthday, so happy birthday, Larice, who lives in New York City. I hope you have a beautiful day planned for your birthday coming up tomorrow. Now, I do need to do a quick shout out to some of our sponsors and let you know the other live shows that we have here coming from the studio. Me today, the Joy Temple with you from 9 till 11 on a Saturday. Following me, we have Light in the Valley from 11 till 1, which is a Christian music and life reflection through the light of the gospel program. Sundays from 11 till 1, we have the Fresh Brew Show with Ted Bagley. He keeps us up to date with what's happening in the local music scene and interviews some of Wellington's hottest upcoming bands and artists. On Tuesdays from 1 to 2, we have Andrew Hardwick in the studio with his Change Habits and Thrive program. And he delves into a different habit as a topic each week and talks about how we can change our habits for good, not evil. And on Wednesdays from 12 to 2, we have the Liquid Lunch with DJ Duop. And Ryan comes in with his Turntable Spins Records, does some vinyl chat, music promos, gig guides, stuff like that. And I really want to give a thanks to Neko Neru and Cars Inc. Museum in Trentham for their support of the station. We are a charity, we are a community radio station, and we do rely on the support of the community to help keep us on air. So if you would like to advertise with us, sponsor a program, or you're interested in even presenting a show or volunteering in some other capacity, we would love to hear from you, and you can contact us at hello@huttradio.co.nz, or you can even reach out to one of our presenters, including myself. And thank you to those who have contacted me about coming on my show. I'm really excited that I've got some guests coming up. Now, I need to let you know what's happening with Neko Neru, because they are doing some events in the store here. They're doing a Matariki event. They're going to have tables downstairs in the restaurant area below the cafe, and they're going to have like a market, and they're going to have representatives of each of the areas that they get their rescue cats from coming to talk more about what they do. They're going to be only open on Friday evening next week, but there's going to be no surcharge on any of the food or drink, which is nice for the public holiday. So they're going to be bringing some events every Friday night to the space here. Now it's time for me to wrap up. It is 10:58. It's been a great show, and I've really enjoyed chatting with Christa today. I'm not going to be in next week because it's my son's birthday, it's Shakti's birthday, and I'm going to spend the morning with Shakti, and then my son is arriving on Sunday, which is really fantastic, and we're going to go and do some great things. But I will be back on the 28th with a lovely guest now. She's coming to talk to us about horror films. That's going to be fascinating. Not something that I watch a lot of, but I will tell you more about her leading up to the show. Now, I am going to say goodbye, everybody, and I'm going to wrap up today. Oh, what song? One of my favourites. Let's go with Cloud 9 by Jamiroquai. And this is the Purple Disco Machine mix. I'll see you next time, everybody. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining in, everyone. It's time for me to go because there'll be somebody else coming in now. So I'm going to say goodbye, TikTok. See you later. Oh, it won't turn off. Okay, thank you for joining me on YouTube today. Yes, live in New Zealand. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you again soon.